From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 181 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. We're recording today, May the 25th, 2024. I'm Warren.
I'm Austin Pinto from Mumbai.
John Dyer.
Kareen Q1.
And Sally Kunduz.
Welcome to episode 181. Coming up in this episode, we have in the Android basics as we return to the One UI journey as we go through the settings. In the spotlight, we talk about Android 14 QPR 3 Beta 2.2 and Android 15 Beta 2.1. We have an app of the week, and Kareen closes today's episode with another entry from the commentary screen reader. Welcome, guys, to episode 181. Kareen girl, the pretty one hiding in Lake Lebanon. Let's hear from you. What's going on with you?
Everything is going well here. Nothing important. Life is passing as usual. And what about you?
You know, I'm doing well. Two things happened. So I think I told you guys I ordered a lawnmower a little while ago. It was supposed to arrive on the 25th, and then, it got pushed to the 28th. And they surprised me yesterday. I saw a notification saying my thing is being delivered. And there it was, the Pulsar lawnmower. And I really like it. I got to try it yesterday. And I mowed my front yard. And good thing is that I didn't get any allergies yesterday. So I'm happy about that. And so I got a brand new lawnmower. I got two of them now. So Austin, what's going on? You are not feeling too good, but we're glad that you are here and you're feeling better because you're sounding nice and chirpy. What's going on?
So I was in the hospital last week also with cellulitis. That is the infection that was in episode 180. So I had to get admitted and they discharged me yesterday. So Friday, that is. So then I'm feeling better. Things are improving. Although there is still abscess, but it's still improving. I'm advised to take antibiotics, which is still on. So things are going good. There is a cyclone in India. So there may be rain the next week. At least in my native place, it is raining. So I'm waiting for rain in Mumbai.
Just stay indoors and watch out for that cyclone because we don't want you getting blown away.
Yeah.
But seriously, though, we're glad you are here with us here today. And thank goodness you're feeling better. The handsome boy, the one that gets better looking just like I do. Sally boy, what's going on with you?
I'm doing great. And as you said, I'm looking better every day. Today's another looking great day because I get my hair cut and I'm looking so good today.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Are you styling or you just did what I do? I just cut it all down to number one.
No,
Well,
I'm
actually, I
not
make
good
mine
with the
bald.
styling. To describe to all those listeners, my hair is like wavy and long on the front side, and on the sides it's short.
Now you girls have a mental picture of
Yeah.
what that good-looking one looks like. Love it.
Yep.
John boy, what's going on, my man?
Hey, I'm good. Like you, I cut my own hair. I don't go down to a number one, though. That's a little too close for comfort. I think I leave it at like 7 for the front and then go down to like 4 on the back. But yeah, I haven't had somebody else cut my hair in a in a very long time.
Yeah, so for me though, I make mine bold, and my family at first didn't like it, but then they kind of gotten used to it. And my hair grows back really fast. I mean, so I literally can cut my hair every month if I wanted, So that's what it is, because I want to get out of the shower and just run. I don't
Be
want to,
ready. Yeah.
mess with my stupid hair.
Don't want to have to style it. Yes. Same
Exactly.
here.
So that's what it is. I'm a man, man. Come on.
Yeah. But my week's been good. It was the last day of school for my son this past week, so we are officially on summer break in the Dyer household.
This is what I like about you guys on the East Coast and the mid western part of our country. You have your summers early. The school lets out early. I wish we did. We don't. And now, the announcement segment. This is a segment dedicated to things we want you to be in the know. And now for this week's episode, here's your announcements. We now move on to announcements. And Austin, do we have anything today? I think we maybe have a couple or so announcements, don't we?
So we have two announcements. One is just nothing related to the podcast, although one is that Ed is on a long vacation, and he will be back in July someday. And the second is that Monday is Memorial Day in US. So Warren, can you describe what is Memorial Day?
So Memorial Day coming up on the 27th, I'm looking forward to it. Kind of barbecue day, going to the cemetery, put some flowers on. So basically what this was, or had always been, was that it was in remembrance of vets and, people that fought in the army, in the military and all of the different wars and things like that. But of course, it got adapted for anyone that you lost. So it's become something that everyone goes to the grave. If you have a loved one that you lost, you could take some flowers there and stuff like that. And of course, it's a day. Some people go camping. Some people just do barbecuing, and then you go drop those flowers and then come back to eat, or whatever the case may be. So looking forward to it, though. It's going to be a great Memorial Day. I haven't even checked to see what the weather is going to be like on Monday. So if you're in the US, that's what we're doing. And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics. We now move on to our next segment, and that's the Android Basics. And today we're talking about the returning to the Samsung One UI. And John brings us a preview of the app section and all that app management. John?
Hello. Welcome back to our continuing series on Samsung One UI. It's been a little while, but it's time to jump back into it. Today we'll be covering the apps portion of the settings.
Apps. Default apps, app settings.
Opening it up.
Apps. Navigate up. Button. Apps.
Along the top here we have
Search apps. Button.
And this is how you can search the list of apps that is below, which we will get to later.
More options. Button.
Here is the more options, opening it up.
Pop-up window. Permission manager.
The permission manager we've covered previously, but I'm just going to remind you what it is.
Permission manager. Navigate up. Button.
It's just a list of all the types of permissions you can grant to apps like camera, microphone, etc.
Calendar. 13 of 31 apps allowed. Call logs. 22 of 31 apps allowed.
So those are just a couple of examples, but we've covered this previously, so I'm going to back out.
Apps. More options. Button. Pop-up window. Permission manager.
After permission manager, we have
Special access.
and this is the more intense, I guess you could call it, more intense permissions.
Special access. Navigate up. Button.
And this list isn't too long. I will just go through it and maybe add my comments on a few of them.
All files access.
So this will let you access all the files on a phone. So if you have a app that's a file manager or something like that, and it needs permission to access more than just a specific folder.
Connected personal and work apps. Device admin apps. Appear on top.
This will let apps appear over other apps.
Do not disturb permission.
This allows them to turn on and off Do Not Disturb.
Manage media.
I'll just continue to go through here.
Change system settings. Notification access. Picture in picture. Use premium text message services. Apps that can always use data. Install unknown apps.
This just means let it install APKs that are not from the Play Store.
Alarms and reminders. Usage data access.
This lets apps see how often you use other apps and when you are using other apps.
VR helper services. Wi-Fi control. Turn screen on. Full screen alerts.
So this is for like phone apps that will have a notification take up the whole screen. And that's the end of this list. I'm just going to go in here to show you what it's like.
Full screen alerts. Navigate up. Button. Allow apps to send full screen alerts that cover the entire screen.
So that's the definition of the permission. And then below is just the list of apps and whether or not the permission is enabled for them. So you can go in here and adjust them accordingly. Backing out.
Special access. Full screen alerts.
Backing out again.
Apps. More options. Button.
Now we have one more item in here.
Pop-up window. Permission manager. Special access. Reset app preferences.
Reset app preferences, and I'm just going to let it explain to you what it is.
This will reset all your preferences for disabled apps, notification restrictions for apps, default apps, background data restrictions for apps, permission restrictions. You won't lose your existing app data. Cancel. Button.
I'm just going to hit cancel.
Apps. More options. Button.
So then the first thing on this page below the header is
Choose default apps. Choose which apps to use for making calls, sending messages, going to websites, and more.
going in here.
Default apps. Navigate up. Button.
And here are the options you have.
Default apps. Browser app. Chrome.
So where you could change your browser app.
Caller ID and spam app. None.
I won't repeat all these things, I'll just go through them.
Digital assistant app. Google. Home app. Nova Launcher. Phone app. Phone. SMS app. Messages. Opening links.
Here's where you can choose which links open in their respective apps. So, for example, if you want a YouTube link to open in the YouTube app, or if you would prefer it just open Chrome or whatever your default browser is, you would go here and turn it off. So I'm going to show you what this is.
Apps that can open links. Navigate up. Button.
There's one setting up here.
Open links and apps. Open links and apps even if they're not installed on. Switch.
So that's the setting you could toggle on and off.
Instant apps.
Going in here,
Google Play Instant. Navigate up. Button.
we just have the one switch.
Upgrade web links. Web links may open in instant apps instead of in a browser when available off. Switch.
Backing out.
Apps that can open links. Instant apps.
And below this instant apps, we have
Installed apps. Heading.
a list of all the installed apps that we can change this setting for. So as an example, I'll just use YouTube. I'll go all the way down to the bottom.
Firefox. What's Zoom. In this app. YouTube Music. YouTube. In this app.
Here we have YouTube. If you open it,
Set as default. Navigate up. Button.
you have a switch.
Open supported links. On. Switch.
So this is globally where you could turn it on. And then below,
Supported web addresses.
if you go in here, you can choose which ones will open.
Supported web addresses. Navigate up. Button.
So for example, the ones I have here.
udo.be. myoutube.com. youtube.com. www.youtube.com.
Backing out of here.
Set as default. Supported web addresses.
Backing out again.
Apps that can open links. YouTube. In this app.
And one more time.
Default apps. Navigate up. Button.
So we're back on the default apps page. And below the opening links, we have
Default for work. Heading.
And this is where you can choose a different browser if you want to while you're using your work profile.
Browser app. Samsung Internet.
I have that set to Samsung Internet, although I don't use my work profile on here, but you can do that if you want to. Backing out.
Apps. Navigate up. Button.
Below default apps, we have
Samsung app settings.
the Samsung app settings.
Samsung app settings. Navigate up. Button.
And this is a very long list of all of the Samsung apps you have on your device. It's just another way to get to their settings. You can obviously get to their settings from within these apps, but I'm just going to, for example,
Camera. 410 kilobyte.
if we go in here,
Camera settings. Navigate up. Button. Intelligent features. Heading.
this is just the camera settings that you can get to from within the camera. So backing out,
Samsung app settings. Camera. 410 kilobyte.
backing out again.
Apps. Samsung app settings.
And below this, we have the list of all the apps on your device.
Your apps 314.
So if you want to scroll through this list to get to one of these apps, you can. If you'd rather search for it, you can. There's a search button at the top of the screen that I mentioned earlier. And what this will do is when you select an app here, it's going to take you to the app info page. And this is not the only way to get to the app info page. You can also get to it by long pressing on an app on your home screen or apps drawer and selecting app info from there. Or you can get to it from the recent screen in some versions of Android, if you have the app open there. I'm just going to open one to show you what type of settings are in here.
Gmail. 232 megabyte. App info. Navigate up. Button.
Here are an example of some options we have.
Privacy. Heading. Notifications. Allowed.
Notifications, when you go in here.
App notifications. Navigate up. Button.
These are all the same type of settings that we've covered previously in the notifications segment of this series. The one thing I want to point out, because it's something that's changed since that recording, is at the very bottom,
Notification categories.
there's something called notification categories. And in One UI 6.1, this is turned off by default. This does not show up here. And this is something I use and a lot of people use. So if you want to add this option back here, you have to go into the main settings page, notifications, then advanced settings, and you'll see a setting where you could turn on notification categories. That'll show up here. But like I said, we've already covered everything on this page, so backing out.
App info. Notifications. Allowed.
Next we have
Permissions. Calendar, camera, contacts, microphone, notifications, and phone.
again, another way to see all the permissions this app might want and whether or not you've granted it.
Screen time.
Where you can limit how often this app can be used.
Remove permissions if app is unused. On. Switch.
If you have this on and you don't use the app for a very long time, it will ungrant the permissions and you'll have to regrant them. So whether or not you want that on or off is up to you.
Defaults. Heading. Set as default. In this app.
Again, we've covered this previously. You'll notice a lot of things in Android you can get to in different places.
Language. System default. Usage. Heading. Mobile data. 13.94 megabyte use since April 1st.
Going into mobile data,
Application data usage. Navigate up. Button.
and this will show you how much data this is used, and there's two switches at the bottom here.
Allow background data usage. On. Switch.
So whether or not you want it to use your data while you're not actually in the app.
Allow data usage while data saver is on. Off switch.
And then if you want it to be an exception to data saver. Backing out.
App info. Mobile data. 13.94 megabyte use since April 1st.
Next.
Battery. 0% use since last fully charged.
And here's some battery settings.
Battery. Navigate up. Button.
We have 3 settings here.
Not selected. Radio button. Unrestricted. Allow this app to use battery in the background without restrictions. This may reduce your battery life.
Then we have
Selected. Radio button. Optimized. Optimized based on your usage of this app. Recommended for most apps.
It's important to note here that when you do select this optimized setting, this hands it off to the Samsung battery settings that we covered earlier as to whether or not apps are sleeping apps, deep sleeping apps, never sleeping apps, and so on. And then the last option on this page.
Not selected. Radio button. Restricted. Restrict battery usage while this app is running in the background. The app may not work as expected and notifications may be delayed.
All right, backing out.
App info. Battery. 0% use since last fully charged.
Next we have
Storage. 320 megabytes used in internal storage.
and then if we go in here,
Storage. Navigate up. Button.
we can get more information about the storage, but more importantly, at the bottom, there's 2 options.
Clear data. Button.
This is how you would clear all of the data for the app,
Clear cache. Button.
and that's where you would clear the cache for the app. Backing out.
App info. Storage. 320 megabytes used in internal storage.
Next.
Picture in picture. Allowed.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
Install unknown apps. Not allowed.
As I mentioned earlier, this is whether or not you want this app to be able to install APKs.
App details and store. App downloaded from Google Play Store.
And here is where you can double tap to have it take you to the Play Store listing for this app.
Version April 14, 2024.625469418. Release.
And that's the version number. And then at the bottom, there are a few buttons across that you can interact with.
Open. Button.
You can open the app.
Disable. Button.
You can disable the app. The reason this is disable and not uninstall is because it's a system app. If it was just an app I downloaded from the Play Store, this would be an uninstall option.
Force stop. Button.
And then you have the option to force stop the app if you need to. And that brings us to the end of the coverage of the apps portion of Samsung's One UI settings. Thanks for listening. I will send it back to the crew.
Yeah, so let's talk about this segment of the Samsung One UI. I like a lot of things in here. You know, the app manager, for example, is another feature in there that I really like. But John, what's it with that woman you got reading your stuff? I don't think I like that woman too much. Who is she? Did Ashley hear who this woman was?
She is the default Samsung TTS voice. So it's Samsung theme, so why not?
Yeah, but is that like the highest quality though? I thought that this one didn't sound as good as some of the ones that you had. I was wondering if you got a different TTS, to be honest. Or maybe I got a lot of fluff in my ear. Maybe that's what happened. But I wasn't kind of liking that voice. What's going on?
I don't know. I'll have to check. I think it's the same voice I've been using, but I don't know. Yours probably work better than mine at distinguishing TTS
Yeah, it sounded different from the one that you had before. Like the quality is not as good because I know it. You could have those higher qualities also, but this one just didn't sound right for some reason. But the main focus though is the content, and there's so much in here. But for me, that app management is something that I like. Of course, the other thing, though, that you've pointed out, John, is the fact that there's so many different ways of getting to these things. And that's one of the beauty that we have in Android, because it's like Windows, always constantly reminding me of Windows. There may be 2 or 3 different ways of doing a particular task. And so I really like that thing about Android. So it's all over the place. And there's talking about Samsung. I think we got an email from someone that was talking about Samsung changing the voice input from where it used to be. And Samsung seems to be kind of like consistent, because if you look at their, open settings in the quick panel or quick settings area, that open settings is always there at the top, versus Google that used to have it there, then they moved it to the bottom. So Samsung's kind of been more consistent, and I'm surprised that they would change the voice input on their keyboard with the 6.1. I was noticing that too. Did you guys notice that instead of being there above the number 6 area, it's kind of moved to the bottom? That's unlike Samsung, isn't it?
Also the change keyboard input button is also changed from right to left. At least it's the case for me from S23. It used to be in the right bottom, and now it's a left.
Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of surprised about, because Samsung's kind of consistent in some things, but of course we've seen how they kind of broke that other notification thing, and now having that notification category, so making it harder for people to change notifications from within an app. So I don't know. It's just like some boys or gals in there, having fun. Let's just change things around and throw people into a tizzy or whatever the case may be. I think that's how I see this.
They've got to do something while they're doing nothing. Earn their paychecks.
Exactly, because if you're not working on something, the boss may say, "Hey, what's going on? You guys having too much fun here, nothing going on. What's going on?" So we've got to change things around, and that reminds me so much of Google. Google does this all the time. You're bound to see that regrouping of apps or features within the settings and things like that. But like we've always said, the good thing is that there's always more than one way of doing things. Is there anything else that kind of strikes you guys out of this area in the app settings?
The ability to select the default app for each thing, like for calls, for the launcher and other stuff, it's something great on Android. It's not there on iOS. I think that they started something similar, but it's not in everything. I think that now it's possible to change the keyboard, isn't it? I think that. But I don't think that it's possible to change the phone app, for example, or the messaging app. So I think that we are still beyond them in that. We are still leading, and this is great. The ability to change the default apps. It's something that was on Android since a long time, and it's still a great thing, really. And it gives a lot of possibilities and the freedom of choice.
That freedom of choice is always important, isn't it? Because if I don't like the way a certain app behaves as a default, I want to choose something else. And web browsers, I'm looking at you. If I don't like how you manage my stuff, then I need to choose something else. I think on the Fruitvale, you can change your web browser too, even though it used to be that even if you change it, the underlining thing is still the Safari or whatever the case is. But anyway, Android is so easy, and I love that ease of use and the fact that we could choose what we want. And like John demonstrated, say you're in an app, for example, you could choose to have something else open a link from within that app instead of the default app opening it. So if you don't like how the app opens it with the app or whatever, you want your browser to open that thing instead, you could set that in there. And you can't get any better than that. I think that's one of the things that we enjoy here in Android land.
So here's a little breakthrough. I wonder what browsers do you guys use? Because I'm using Microsoft Edge as a default browser on my phone.
You use Edge as a default on your phone. So,
Yeah.
I am kind of notorious for using different ones. Frankly, so I use the Samsung Internet now and then I use the Google Chrome. I use the Firefox, and I also use that Microsoft Edge. So it really depends on what I'm trying to work on sometimes. But I think a lot of times I use Chrome, but then some days you will find me using Samsung Internet, and other days I'm a Firefox man.
Yeah, I use Samsung Internet. So I use Samsung Internet when I'm opening a browser, right? Like that's the browser I open when I want to go to a website and do something. But I have Chrome still set as my default. So I use them both. Chrome is just the one that opens when I click on a link, but Samsung is the one that I go to when I want to like get to one of my bookmarks or want to go to a specific website. So when I manually open a browser, I choose Samsung Internet.
What about you, Kareen?
Well, for me, Chrome is the default, and I use it most of the time. But I have Firefox and Kiwi. I use them from time to time. But what made me annoyed when I used Firefox the last time, it was maybe a week ago or something, 2 weeks ago, it was that Explore by Touch, at least with Jieshuo, it wasn't working well. And I use Explore by Touch sometimes. So I think that it may be leaving my device soon if this problem persists. But it's a good browser.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not the confused screen reader, my dear?
Well, to be fair, I didn't try to talk back. So I will not say anything until I try.
But
It doesn't really matter what's causing it. What matters is that she's not going to get rid of Jieshuo before she gets rid of Firefox.
That's right.
So even if it's only an issue with Jieshuo, bye-bye Firefox.
Exactly. So isn't that's very interesting. But yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Kiwi. I haven't used Kiwi in a while, but another one that I use from time to time too is that Vivaldi. I really like Vivaldi, so it's I use it too once in a while. So I think all in all, I probably have about 6, 7, or 8 browsers that I use interchangeably. So it's kind of very interesting how we all use browsers differently. And for me, I think there's always something different about each of them that makes it stand out from the crowd and all of that. And even though they're mainly based on that Chromium, lots of them, with the exception of Firefox, all of them are based on Chromium, but there's always something in there. For example, Sally used that Microsoft Edge. I think I like the reading mode on the Microsoft Edge browser. So it's just, there's always something about one that makes it compelling for one to try it.
I use Chrome and Tor both, because if I need a easy VPN solution, then I can use Tor. But Chrome is the only browser that I mainly use.
Yeah, we talked about Tor on here. I haven't even used Tor in a long time, but it's there on my phone. It's kind of interesting. So it's like we were talking offline, John, you were mentioning archiving apps that one doesn't use. So I think my Tor probably has gone into hibernation because I haven't used it in a while. Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews of developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this episode, here's your spotlight. Let's move on now to our spotlight segment, and we got a couple of things we want to talk about. First, though, we want to talk about the Android 14 QPR 3 Beta 2.2. So if you're in the Android 14 and you've signed up for the QPR, on the 23rd, Google pushed out a little update in the way of Beta 2.2, and it's a little minor update. So there are only two issues here that got fixed. The first one has to do with sometimes connectivity is not working well for some people and stuff like that. So the other one says fix other various bugs and whatever. So not much to write home about. The same thing is true with the Android 15 Beta 2.1, which also dropped on the 24th. So 2 days back to back, you got that QPR 3 for Android 14. And then on the 24th, we got Android 15 Beta 2.1. And for the Beta 2.1 of Android 15 Beta, all that we have is that it's just something that has to do with the private space. And I didn't set up my private space. John, you did set up yours, but the whole idea is that they've noticed that sometimes when people are setting up a private space for the first time, like the main account, the home screen kind of disappeared, or the home screens disappear or whatever. And so that's what that one is there to fix. That's all that we have in that Android 15 Beta 2.1.
So on the Pixel 7a, there is a bug in Android 15 Beta 2 also. When you enable the auto vibration settings, the settings app crashes. I thought this will be fixed in Beta 2.1, but it did not get fixed. It was a minor update, although a 10 MB or something update, but it did not get fixed.
So in other words, what you're saying, Austin, is that if one enables that adaptive vibration, that the settings app crashes. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, and the only way to resolve it is to reset the device to factory.
Oh, no. Well, I'm not even trying that then. I didn't try it, to be honest. So
No, I
if
mean
that's
you can try it, and if it crashes, you can reopen settings. But to fix that problem, you have to reset your device to factory. So you can try it if you need.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then I think mine is good to go then, because I'm one of those that after getting an update, I do a system factory reset. So I already did a factory reset on mine after getting Android 15 Beta 2. So I'm good. Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week. Up next, we move on to the App of the Week segment. And this week, we're talking about the Speechify app. And of course, it's a great app, very expensive though, $100 per year and all of that. So our job here at BAU, Blind Android Users, is to make the complicated uncomplicated. So I know people have been having problems with voice selection or how to go about choosing a voice within the Speechify app. And this is where we make the complicated uncomplicated. Now, here's how you go about using the Speechify app. Hi, for episode 181 App of the Week, this is demonstrating Speechify, Speechify. For today's demonstration, I'll be utilizing my Galaxy S23 Plus, running One UI 6.1 and with TalkBack 14.x. I'll be demonstrating how you can go about activating the part where you need to choose the voice for Speechify. That's one part that is not very accessible, or rather not accessible while using Android. Today, however, I'll be showing you how to go about activating that. I am now on my home screen and will navigate my way to the icon of the app and we'll get started. Let's get started.
Speechify.
I'll tap to activate.
Welcome to Speechify.
We believe reading should never be a barrier to learning or productivity.
Join millions of listeners and transform the way you read by listening with Speechify.
What is your first name?
Edge panels. English US QWERTY shown. Showing Samsung keyboard.
There we are, and the first thing is that we heard some of the voices that you would be encountering that you can choose from and all of that. And then, of course, it activates the edit field so we could put in your name so it know how to address you. I'll now tap in my name.
Capital W A R R Warren, 1 of 9. N Warren. Editing Warren. Edit box. Your name out of list.
And now that I've put in my name, all that I need to do below that is
Continue button.
Continue button.
What is most of your reading for?
What is most of your reading for,
Keyboard
Warren?
hidden.
In this case, you need to choose whether you're like a leisure reader or some work-related stuff, all that kind of stuff. And so here are some of those options that we have.
What is most school?
We've got school,
Work.
leisure, and of course, I'm going to tap leisure.
Building your personalized library.
Hello, Warren.
0%.
You are about to join
Progress.
23
Slider.
million people experiencing
2%.
reading superpowers with
3%.
Speechify.
5%.
I'm John.
6%.
First, choose from over 60
7%.
voices.
8%.
Let me introduce some of my
10%.
friends.
My name is Harry.
11%.
I am an English
12%.
voice from the United Kingdom.
15%.
I'm the narrator.
16%.
Did you know when you use your
17%.
eyes and your
19%.
ears at the same time, you can double your
21%.
attention and
22%.
comprehension?
I'm Nate. Did you know people with ADHD can listen 3 times faster than most people can read?
Cancel button.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Speechify.
It's lovely to meet you.
31%.
Please pick who you want to
12%.
listen to.
35%.
Select your listening
Mute button
voice here.
IMV button. Select your listening voice here.
I'm sorry, I was trying to stop TalkBack from reading while the voices are being demoed. However, I wound up activating the TalkBack menu. Anyway, so this is where the problem comes in, where people are unable to choose the voice that they want because what needs to be tapped on is at the bottom left corner of the phone. And tapping that area with TalkBack on does not activate it. So what you need to do here is to first unload TalkBack and just tap there at the bottom left corner of the phone, and that will open up the voices where you can now choose the voice you want. I'll now suspend TalkBack and go tap on that bottom left corner to activate the voice selection area. I have tapped at the bottom left, and I believe I've activated the voice selection. I'll now reload TalkBack so I'll know where to find the voices.
TalkBack on.
I am now on that page with the voices, and the voices are arranged from left to right. There's one on the left, one on the right, then below another one to the left, and another one to the right. We'll start by the first one on the left, and of course, it kind of like says a bunch of other things before it finally says the name of the person. So here's what I'm talking about. Let's start with the first one on the left.
https /storage.googleapps.com/speechify-id-prod-centralized-voice-list/base/avatars/n-us-cliff-speechify.webp. Cliff, Speechify CEO, row 1, column 1, in grid, 3 rows, 2 columns, window Speechify.
So there we heard that the first one on the top left there is Cliff. And of course, Cliff is the CEO of Speechify. Now, if you move your finger to the right or just swipe right,
https /storage.googleapps.com/speechify-id-prod-centralized-voice-list/base/avatars/n-us-snoop-resemble.webp. Snoop Dogg, American rapper, column 2.
there's a Snoop Dogg. Anyway, so in other words, it will say all of that before it says the name of the person. But if you don't want to, you could just tap on it and each of those is going to say their name. So I'm just going to tap on them and go through this. I'll go from left to right, left to right. We'll start with the first one.
HTTPS.
Hi, my name is Cliff Weitzman. I'm the founder of Speechify. I made Speechify to help me with my dyslexia and ADHD. Now, our AI helps millions of people. I hope it can help you too.
I'll now tap on the one to the right side of the phone.
What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double-G, and I'm an English voice from the United States.
So the Snoop Dogg. Now I'm tapping the one at the bottom of Cliff.
Welcome to Speechify. Speechify can read to you in the highest quality digital voices available anywhere.
That didn't say her name, but I believe it's Gwen or something like that now to the right of that.
What's up? I'm John here to help you get more done in less time.
Now the one below Gwen.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am an English voice from the United States.
And then the last one on the bottom right.
Hi, I'm Simon.
That's all you have as a free user. So whichever one you choose, you tap on, the last one you tap on becomes your default. So for example, I'm going to go choose Jessica. I think I kind of like that voice.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am an English voice from the United States.
Now at the bottom,
Continue with Jessica button.
There we go. I tap.
Thanks for picking me.
Speechify.
I'm
Welcome
excited
to
to help you enjoy
Speechify.
your reading on the go. Get through even more information in less time. You can adjust your speed up or down whenever you want. Pretty cool, huh?
Speechify on
Select
top.
your listening
Select
speed
your
here.
listening speed here on bottom. Mute button IMV button. Select your listening speed here.
And just like how you go about selecting the voice, at the bottom right this time, not at the bottom left, is where you will tap to go choose the speed that you want. And that will open up to where you can choose the speed. So I'll temporarily unload TalkBack. I think for me, this speed that we're listening to right now is good enough. So I'm not going to do the speed selector. However, I'll just tap there and then I'll go back.
TalkBack on. Speed reader. Window Speechify.
Did you know
Select your
reading and
listening
listening
speed
can
here.
increase
Mute
comprehension?
button IMV
Awesome.
button.
Speechify is the perfect
Speechify.
reading
Welcome
companion
to
to take your
Speechify.
reading anywhere and discover the next piece of fan fiction. Using our app and Chrome extension, you can listen to just about anything. Over 217,000 five-star reviews on iOS and over tens of thousands of five-star reviews on Chrome. Did you know that studies show that you retain more information as you read by engaging multiple senses, sight, and hearing? Eckstein said, I love books. I've been paying for an Audible subscription, but it gets so pricey. With this app, one can listen to anything as long as I have the text for it. I can even take a picture of books I already have. Your preferences have been saved. We are excited that you are about to join 23,564,100 people loving Speechify. Tap continue below.
Now let's tap on continue at the bottom.
Tap to continue button. Close button button. Detected. Icon close. Text X.
I am now on the next page, and of course, the focus is on the close on the top left corner of the phone. Let's put our finger down, see what we got.
Speechify Premium.
Here now we're talking about moolah, payments, and all of that. Move my finger down.
Free 3-day trial.
Below that, we have something that talks about free 3-day trial. I'm just going to move down.
Today.
Move down.
Get Speechify Premium free for 3 days. We will notify you before you are charged.
Moving down.
May 22nd, 2024.
So basically, if I activate it today, it will end up on May 22. Moving down.
Your trial ends. You will be billed for 1 year unless you cancel before this date.
So by default, it subscribes you to a 1-year subscription.
30 plus premium voices.
And that's what you get with your subscription.
Listen with natural sounding voices in over 20 languages.
Move down.
Up to 5 times listening speed.
I don't care about the speed. Let's move on down.
Increase your productivity and get through your reading faster.
Next.
24/7 chat support.
Next.
Chat with our world-class support team at any time.
Next.
22,078 listeners are reading more with premium.
Next.
Start for free.
There's a start for free.
Unlimited free access for 3 days, then $99.99 per year, only $8.33 per month.
So in other words, you'll be paying $100 if you subscribe to it. That's a 1-year subscription.
Start for free.
And of course, we have that start for free. And that's, if you want to activate, that's where you tap. So I'm not going to be subscribing. So instead, I'll tap on that close found near the top left corner of the phone.
Detected. Icon, close. Text, X, button.
And I tap.
Speechify works best when you add something to read. What do you want to read?
What do you want to read?
And now we're on a page or on a screen where we could choose the type of readings that we would like to do. And here's what we got.
Speechify works best when you add PDF or file.
We got PDF or file.
Physical book or text.
That means you'll be scanning books.
Nothing at the moment.
Or nothing at the moment. I'm going to tap on nothing at the moment.
Library.
Welcome.
Search library.
This is where you add
Disabled.
files.
Library on top. Welcome. This is where you add files on bottom. Mute button IMV button. Welcome. This is where you add files.
We are now on a page where we could import files or books and things like that to read. And putting my finger down. And at the bottom there's a next on the bottom left.
Next button.
We tap.
After you add a file, it will live here.
And we're now on the second page
Allow
of that
Speechify
tutorial.
to send you notifications. Allow button.
And now we're hearing about allowing or not allowing notifications. And of course, I'm notorious for not allowing notifications. I think I'm going to tap on Don't Allow right now.
Don't allow button.
Tap.
Speechify. Speechify cannot post notifications. Access to post notification permission. Please go to settings to permissions to allow access. Speechify. After you add a file, it will live here. Detected. Icon, mute, button.
All right, now let's see what we got.
Next, button. 2 of 3.
We got that next there at the bottom left.
Next, button.
View tutorials, subscription details, and more.
And this is the last page in talking about viewing tutorials and more.
Sounds good, button.
And at the bottom left there is the sounds good.
Library. 0/3 files added.
I am now on a page that talks about library and is telling me I've got 0 files added. Let's see what we got.
List.
It simply says list and there's nothing
List.
here. Moving my finger down.
List. 0/3 files added.
Moving down.
Add now button.
There's an add now in the middle of the phone. And if I tap.
Add. Search sources. Edit box.
We are now on a page where we could
Page
choose
5
what we
of
want
5.
to add. And let's explore this page.
Listen. Scan any document. Page 1 of 5.
We heard
Get
scan
premium.
any
Do better at
document,
school
page
and
1
work
of
with
5.
more natural voice.
And
Scan
that
pages.
one,
Convert books and document to audio. Page 3 of 5.
that is a
Page 4
slider,
of
like
5.
a slideshow that is moving near the top of the phone. So
Page
now
5 of 5.
move my finger down so we take the focus off that area.
Page 1. Scan any document.
There's scan any document.
Scan pages. Convert books and document to audio.
Move down.
Paste and write text. Copy and paste or write any text to listen. Paste a web link. Copy and paste any web link to listen.
Next.
Import. Page 5 of 5.
Import.
From your computer, drag and drop PDF from computer. Kindle Library, for accessibility. Page 2 of 5.
And
Google Drive. Import any PDF or Google Doc.
I'm sorry, this thing keeps going back to the top
Page
because
3 of 5.
that's a live area.
Page
So
5 of 5.
At the bottom, though, we have some tabs. And by default, we
Page
have
1
the
of
add.
5.
Starting from the left, here's what we got.
Selected. Add. Tab. 1 of 3.
Going
In list.
right.
My Files. Tab. 2 of 3.
And the last
Page
tab.
For you. Tab.
For
3
you.
of 3.
And above
Page
that last
5 of
tab
5.
is the add button.
Detected. Icon. Add. Sign in to add files. Speechify is a better experience when you have an account.
So in other words, if you want to add things, say something from the Kindle or from your Google, it wants you to sign in order to be able to do that, because that is also going to synchronize across your devices. That's a short demonstration of Speechify, and I hope that it's something that you find useful. Thanks for listening. And now, the Jieshuo, or what Austin refers to as the Joshua screen reader, aka commentary screen reader. And if you're me, the confused screen reader. This is a segment dedicated to some new feature of the great commentary screen reader. And now for this week's episode, here's your new feature of the commentary screen reader. To close this week's episode, Kareen brings us another entry from the commentary screen reader. I call it the confused screen reader, to be honest. She will cut my head off, but here's Kareen again to give us another great stuff from commentary screen reader, Joshua screen reader, as Austin would like to call it. Kareen?
Hi. Jieshuo contains functions to report current time, battery level, network information, current location, and the current lighting conditions. All of the functions are in the main menu, and you can assign gestures to them if you want to. Let's see them one by one. I'll open the main menu.
Main menu. More button. Main menu.
The first one is
Time. Current time.
current time, which announces the current time.
22:33.
If the charger is connected,
Charging started. Battery level is 88. Main menu. More button. Time. Current time. 22:33. Battery level 88.
it will also announce the battery level.
Charging stopped. Main menu.
When the stopwatch or a preset timer is active, it will also announce the elapsed time.
Preset timer. Start now button.
Enable timer.
Now the stopwatch is active.
Main menu. More button. Main menu. Automatically use of speak current lighting. Current. Pause timer. Time. Current time. 13 seconds. Now it's 22:34.
Moving to the next function,
Current location.
current location. It reports the current area that you are in. However, according to my testing, it is not that accurate. I don't know the exact service that it uses, but for me, when I tested it, it gave me a location that is about 20 minutes by car from my current exact location. I gave it the precise location permission, but this is the result that I got. You should pay attention to something, which is that when it reports the location, it also copies it. And this may conflict with the reporting, so it may interrupt the reporting by by giving you the notification, the copy to clipboard notification. In this case, you can just go to the clipboard history, either by going to the functions menu or to the main menu, or if you have assigned a gesture to it by using the gesture, and you should find it there. Moving now to
Main menu. More button. Main menu. Top. Append. Speak current lighting.
Speak current lighting. This function uses the light sensor of the phone to tell you the current lighting conditions. It gives you the measurement with or using the lux.
16 lux. Low light.
16 lux low light. I will now turn off the light completely, and the room should be completely dark.
Speak current lighting. 0 lux. Dark.
Moving to the next function.
Main menu. More button. Main menu. Speak current lighting. Speak time and battery level.
Speak time and battery level. The differences between this and the current time are: this always reports the battery level, not only while charging. Also, this gives you the seconds in addition to the time, to the hour and minute. Also, this doesn't tell you the elapsed time if the stopwatch or the preset timer is enabled.
22:38:18 battery level 88.
Moving now to
Main menu. More button. Main menu. Speak network information.
the last function, which is speak network information. This should tell you the Wi-Fi signal, the carrier name, if you are using 2G, 3G, 4G, or 5G, and the current network signal. However, usually it only announces the Wi-Fi signal. At least this is what happens with me. Sometimes it announces the other information, sometimes not.
More button. Main menu.
Or to be more precise, most of the times it doesn't announce, at least according to my testing, the information other than the Wi-Fi signal. The Wi-Fi signal is based on 5, so the signal full means 5, and then you have 4 bars, 3 bars, 2 bars, and 1 bar.
Speak network information. Wi-Fi signal 3 bars.
So as you can notice, it didn't tell me anything other than the Wi-Fi signal. I hope that the demo was useful. Thank you for listening.
All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us. Well, folks, with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. We thank you for listening to us. For the meantime, though, Austin is standing by to give you information on how you can get hold of us. Austin?
To contact us, you can send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. You can join our mailing list by sending an email to blind Android users plus subscribe@groups.io. You can join our Telegram, Facebook, Discord, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The links for everything will be at the bottom of the show notes and also in the video description of the YouTube channel. And also the links are in the websites panel of the YouTube channels.
Well, folks, with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. Thanks again for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. And from me is goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.